Hey everybody, it's Rob, straight from the Netherlands. Let me introduce myself. Rob again. If you want to find me on social media, you can find me under the name The Bloody Butcher, but also Schorenbarbier and of course Reuzel pomade. I'm here today with my model Logan, and I think it's going to be a very interesting course. I want to talk about how I approach a client or a model. And I'm going to show you the way we would do this haircut in our barber shop in Rotterdam, Schoren, Haarsnijder and Barbier. It's just a little barber shop, but it grew into quite a known shop around the world. I think one thing that's really important is that within Schoren, we always stuck to a certain niche. We do classic haircuts, and that's all we do. That might sound weird because, you know, we're offering not that much, but what I really believe in is if you focus on one thing, people will find you for that, because there's nothing more that people love more than being like specialized in a certain craft or product. So Logan would walk into my shop like this. Now, I got a theory. I think on every client, the perfect haircut is already there. There is just a whole bunch of bullshit hair in the way. And our job is to recognize that bullshit hair, get rid of it, and you'll be left with the perfect haircut. Now, the perfect haircut might be different for everybody that cuts a client. I've been doing this for 36 years. I would look at it a little different than somebody that had only been cutting for 2 years. Now, my first trick that I use on everybody is the magic potion called water. So I washed Logan's hair because there was still a little bit of old product in there. I'm using water. Basically, water is a serum of truth. There is nothing you can hide once the hair is wet, but it also kind of gives you a superpower because, and I think this might just be the most important part of the whole class that we're going to teach today. Remember this one. Whatever you can do with water, you can always 100% recreate with the product. So if you can comb the hair into a desired shape with only water, and it's going to stick with only water, you can be 100% sure that in the end, you can recreate that with the product, which is going to give you confidence throughout the haircut, because I can already tell that there is a beautiful shape hidden right here in the hair. We're going to go for a nice square shape. It's going to look absolutely amazing with the beard. So once I find this haircut hidden, all I got to do is get rid of what's in the way to perfect that haircut, right? So I know where I want to go. I know my final destination. I just don't know how to get there yet. Now, what do you do when you know your final destination, but you don't know how to get there? Well, young kids would pull out their phone, get on Google Maps, but before Google Maps, there were actual maps that you would buy at a gas station, you know, to show you the way. Or if you would get lost, you would ask direction, and one of the locals would draw a map, yeah? And that is exactly what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna draw a map through sectioning. And my first section is going to be on the parietal ridge. Now, the parietal ridge, where does that word come from? It is actually a ridge of bone. But we're not going to look for the parietal ridge by hitting our client. If you want to find the parietal ridge, because the parietal ridge is one of the most important sections in both barbering, but also in hairdressing, and actually when you do a color, you know, because this is the hair on top that is going to move throughout the haircut. How do I find that parietal ridge? Well, first of all, basically the parietal ridge is what divides the haircut in two. And usually on men's hair, it's the short sides combined with the long top. So if you would look, see, there you got that square shape. Now, the square shape is just, it's the foundation of barbering, yeah? So when I look at that 90-degree angle that makes that square shape, if I split it in two, 45-degree angle, that is going to bring us exactly to the parietal ridge. Now this would be the technical approach, but if you want an easy trick that's going to work on 99.5% of all your clients, just look at the natural hairline, follow that natural hairline, and that is going to bring you exactly to your parietal ridge. Now, in the case of Logan here, all the cool action is going to happen on top of his head. So basically what I do is I split the haircut in two. Now, we're going to start on the sides and we're going to go short. It doesn't even matter how short you want to go, you know, the haircut will tell you what to do. So it might be a 1 on the side or a 0 on the side. Now I know Logan has some nice surprises hidden under here, so I'm going to go quite short. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the top yet, but that is my approach. I'm going to start by like cleaning up, and then those short sides will tell me exactly what to do with the top. So we got our parietal ridge here, right? Now, when you compare classic hairdressing and classic barbering with each other, it's really not that different. So if I would approach the haircut as a hairdresser, and I want to make something very clear, I started as a barber when I was 14 years old. I got an actual job at the age of 15, and my mentor, he taught me about classic barbering, clipper-over-comb, scissor-over-comb. The moment I learned more about barbering, he was like, and now I'm going to teach you about hairdressing. In the beginning I was like, do I want to learn about this? I thank him on my knees every day, because learning about hairdressing made me a better barber. But it works the other way around too. Actually, Trevor Storby, who sadly just passed away, he started as a barber. That's why he got so good at that very precise haircutting techniques that made him create the wedge, one of the most famous haircut in the history of hairdressing. Now, if I would approach the haircut as a hairdresser, I would go a little something like this, right? And this should look familiar to all of you guys. I take a section and I set in a guideline, right? I cut to the second knuckle, take the rest of the section, and then I would proceed, take my next section, right? Slightly over direct to my previous cut guideline, look for my guideline, and follow that guideline. So basically what we got here, we drew our map, right? But now we also got a guide. And what does a guide mean? It means you cannot get lost. Yeah, so imagine your mom or your dad having the map, walking through the Amazon jungle. You're 4 years old, you're holding their hand. That hand is your guideline. As long as you don't let go, the map will guide you through the jungle. That's what I'm doing here. So as long as I get stuck to my guideline, I cannot get lost. What do we learn from that first section? And this is quite important. First of all, the tips of my finger always point to the potential length on top. So this is going to be a shorter haircut, of course, not only on the sides, but the moment I change my angle, the hair on top gets longer. Yes, we're using that information because that first section is actually telling us what the rest of the haircut is going to look like. Now, I would go all the way through, taking sections, section, 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 until we reach the back area, and we would actually go into that nape area. Yes? So that means that when I look at that first section here, this would be the length on top, right? The tip of my fingers. But it also means that my second knuckle is pointing to the length around the ear, but also the length in that nape area. Yeah? This is crucial to understand your haircut.